There's a certain kind of woman who doesn't need to announce herself. She enters a room and the atmosphere shifts gently but unmistakably. She wears no flashy labels, no glitter, no fanfare. Just quiet tones, clean lines, and the kind of self-assurance that cannot be borrowed. Let me tell you something I've learned quietly, not from magazines, not from trend reports, but from real life. Looking expensive has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with how you carry yourself and what you choose to care about. See, after 50, something shifts. You stop dressing to prove a point. You start dressing to feel like yourself again. Not the rushed version of you from your 30s. Not the self-conscious version from your 40s. But the version that has grown into her skin slowly and with grace. It's not about labels. It's not about trying to impress. It's about presence. And presence doesn't cost a fortune. Picture this. You walk into a room. Not one person knows what brand you're wearing. But heads turn. Not out of shock, but because something about you feels complete. Your blouse fits just right. Your scent is soft, clean, unforgettable. Your voice doesn't try to fill the silence, it honors it. You smile like someone who knows her own worth and doesn't need to say a word. That's the kind of expensive I'm talking about. The kind that isn't flashy. It's felt. Let me say it plainly. You don't need more clothes. You need fewer with better shape, softer fabric, and a story behind each piece. You don't need the latest serum. You need skin that glows because you care for it. You don't need approval. You need peace. And trust me, peace looks very expensive. So in this video, I'm not going to sell you a fantasy. I'm going to show you something better. How to look and feel refined, elegant, quietly powerful without overspending or pretending. You'll learn how to choose clothes that elevate you, even from a thrift store. Why grooming matters more than makeup. Which 5 investment pieces are worth every cent. And how to carry yourself with a kind of calm that makes people lean in, not look away. Because looking expensive is less about what's on you, and more about what you've let go of. The noise, the pressure, the chase. If you're over 50, you already hold everything you need to embody elegance. You just need to dress like it, speak like it, live like it. So pull up a chair. This space is for you. Welcome to Grace After 50, a soft space for strong women. So why does this matter? Why talk about elegance or luxury or how we present ourselves, especially after 50? Because, whether we say it aloud or not, many of us know this truth. There comes a season in a woman's life where the world starts looking past her. She walks into a store and the younger sales associate doesn't greet her. She voices an idea at work and it lands with less weight than it once did. She scrolls through media and all she sees are women 20 years younger being told how to look, how to live, how to matter. And somewhere in that quiet space, she begins to wonder if she's disappearing. But here's what no one tells you. Elegance after 50 is a reclamation. It's the slow, sacred act of making yourself visible again to the world, yes, but more importantly to yourself. Because you are not invisible. You are just no longer screaming. You've entered a different kind of power, the kind that doesn't chase attention. It commands it. And this idea of luxury, it isn't about buying designer labels or looking like someone else. Luxury is how your clothes feel on your skin. It's your home smelling like fresh tea and warm linen. It's your time being spent with intention, not urgency. It's waking up slowly, dressing with care, moving through the world on your terms. That's the real luxury. Not diamonds. Not red soles. But choosing how you show up when no one is watching, and especially when they are. Let's be honest, after 50, most of us aren't looking for applause. We're looking for alignment. We want our outside to reflect the woman we've worked so hard to become on the inside. We want to feel refined, not because we're trying to impress anyone, but because we've earned the right to take up space in the most elegant way possible. Not with noise, but with presence. With subtle power. With stillness that speaks volumes. So if you've ever felt like the world's pace no longer fits your rhythm, if you've ever stood in front of your closet wondering why nothing feels like you anymore, if you've ever wanted to feel refined, radiant, and respected, not for what you wear but for how you carry yourself, then this space, this video, is for you. Because you don't have to spend a fortune to feel like a woman of value. You already are. You just need to dress, walk, and live like it. Now let's begin. Let's talk about personal style, not in the way fashion magazines shouted at us, but in the quiet, mature way that a woman over 50 begins to rediscover what she really wants to wear. Because the truth is, after a certain age, the goal is no longer to be trendy. The goal is to be timeless. And that begins with something no one else can tell you. Your own style story. Style at this stage of life isn't about dressing to fit in. It's about dressing to align with your life, your body, your values, your pace. Every piece you wear should feel like an extension of who you are now. Not who you used to be. Not who others expect you to be. And certainly not who fast fashion says you should pretend to be. Let's be honest. How many times have you bought something because it was on trend? Only to wear it once, maybe twice, and feel like a stranger in your own outfit? We've all done it. Because chasing trends, especially after 50, doesn't make you look current. It makes you look unsure. And nothing cheapens elegance faster than looking like you're trying too hard. Here's the shift. Timeless style begins when you stop asking, what's popular? And start asking, what feels right on me? What colors soften your face? What silhouettes bring ease to your posture? What textures make you want to reach for them again and again? That's where personal style lives, in the details you choose with care. And most of the time it lives in simplicity. Let's talk color. Neutral doesn't mean boring. Ivory, oat, charcoal, stone, warm beige, deep navy. These are the colors of quiet wealth. They blend into the world without disappearing. They allow your skin to glow, your jewelry to speak, your posture to lead. Pairing similar tones, soft grays on soft grays, taupe on camel, black on black, creates elegance that doesn't scream for attention. It draws it gently. It says, I don't need to shout to be heard. Now, structure. After 50, one of the most generous things you can give yourself is tailoring. A well-fitted blazer will do more for your confidence than a dozen trendy tops. Wide leg pants that fall just right at the ankle. A midi dress with a clean neckline and soft cinch at the waist. These pieces honor your shape without apology or compromise. They don't hide your body. They frame it with respect. Here's something I say often, and it's worth repeating now. Looking expensive starts with knowing what no longer serves you. That scratchy synthetic blouse? Let it go. The fast fashion shoes that pinch your toes? They've done their time. That cluttered closet full of maybe one-day outfits? Release them. Because every piece that doesn't feel like you robs attention from the ones that do. Building your style after 50 is not about accumulation. It's about curation. Not about buying more, but about choosing better. And that, dear one, is the very heart of timeless elegance. The kind of style that doesn't fade. Because it was never based on the moment. It was based on you. Now that you've begun to shape your personal style, let's talk about how to build it simply, beautifully, and without overspending. Because the truth is, you don't need an overflowing closet to look elegant. In fact, too much clothing often leads to too little clarity. What you need is a strong foundation. A wardrobe made of fewer, better pieces, the kind you reach for without hesitation. Let me introduce you to the quiet magic of the capsule wardrobe. A capsule wardrobe is more than a minimalist trend. It's a mindset. It asks one simple question. What do I actually wear and love on a regular basis? Not someday. Not maybe. Not if I lose a few pounds. But right now. Because what you wear most often says far more about your life and your taste than anything hanging at the back of your closet with the tags still on. Start here with 5 essential pieces that elevate nearly everything. A white blouse, crisp, clean, versatile. Worn with jeans, skirts, under blazers tied at the waist. It brings instant polish. Wide leg pants, soft, flowing, forgiving yet structured. They elongate the body, move gracefully, and feel luxurious without fuss. A camel coat, classic, neutral, elegant. Throw it over anything and you instantly look put together. A silk scarf, whether worn around the neck, tied to your bag, or used as a belt. This small detail brings texture and color without loudness. A tailored blazer, black, navy, cream, take your pick. But make sure it fits your shoulders. A good blazer does more than cover, it defines. You don't need 50 items. You need 5 you'd be proud to wear on repeat. Now let's talk about fabric, because elegance can be felt even before it's seen. If your clothes cling, wrinkle badly, or shine in the wrong light, it doesn't matter how well you style them. They won't read as refined. That's why natural fibers matter. Linen, breathable, airy, and rich in texture. Perfect for warm climates and relaxed silhouettes. Cotton, especially structured cotton, poplin, or sateen, it gives clean lines without stiffness. Tweed, timeless, weighty, and textured. It holds shape and adds heritage to a simple outfit. Silk, smooth, luminous, and quietly indulgent. Even a small silk detail elevates everything around it. These fabrics age well like you. They don't scream. They speak softly and last longer. And here's the secret many stylish women over 50 already know. You don't have to buy these things brand new. Second-hand luxury is one of the smartest, most sustainable, and elegant choices you can make. Because truly refined women care less about whether it's new, and more about whether it's right. Thrift stores, consignment boutiques, online marketplaces. These are treasure chests for timeless pieces that someone else no longer needed, but you might wear for years. A cashmere wrap for a fraction of the cost. An Italian leather handbag from the 90s. Vintage Ferragamo flats that never go out of style. These things hold stories. And now they get to hold yours. And if you've ever bought something cheap that looked promising but fell flat, here's your solution: tailoring. For the cost of 1 new item, you can transform 3 you already own. Take in the waist of that too boxy dress. Shorten the pants that drag. Nip the sleeves of a blazer that overwhelms you. Tailoring is where budget pieces learn to behave like designer ones. It's where off the rack becomes made for you. And nothing looks more expensive than something that fits perfectly. So if you've been wondering how to elevate your wardrobe without emptying your account, start with this. A few pieces you love. Fabrics that feel good on your skin. Second-hand treasures with character. And a trusted tailor. That's it. That's your foundation. That's your quiet luxury. That's how refinement begins, not with more but with less, chosen better. Now let's move into something even more subtle. Something that often speaks louder than your clothes. Even before you've said a single word. Grooming. Because before someone notices your handbag or your blazer, they see your skin. They notice your hands. They hear your tone. They take in the energy you bring up close. And that is where refinement truly lives. Not in the label, but in the way you care for yourself day by day, quietly, consistently. Let's start with skincare. By now, most of us have tried it all: the miracle creams, the 10-step routines, the serums that promise the impossible. But the truth is, your skin doesn't need 100 products. It needs a ritual. Something small. Something consistent. Something that feels like a kindness, not a battle. A gentle cleanse in the morning. A moisturizer that soaks in with ease. A bit of sun protection even on the cloudy days. And at night, a moment at the mirror that says, I'm still worth caring for. Because grooming at this stage of life isn't about reversing time. It's about honoring time and the skin that has carried you through it. Now let's talk hair. Hair over 50 should never feel like an obligation. It should feel like a signature, something that frames your face and fits your rhythm. Whether you wear it long, short, gray, dyed, curly, or straight. What matters most is that it's intentional and that it feels like you. Healthy hair, no matter the style, always looks expensive. A regular trim. A clean part. A color that flatters, not hides. These are small choices that say, I pay attention. I care. Even tying it back into a neat chignon with a silk scrunchie can feel more luxurious than any overly styled look that doesn't match your mood. Now, the thing most women overlook, fragrance. A signature scent is not a luxury reserved for the wealthy. It's a decision. A memory you wear. Choose something that feels clean, soft, and deeply personal. Something that lingers in the room long after you've left it. Not loudly, but like a whisper someone's trying to remember. Look for notes like sandalwood, bergamot, rose, amber, vetiver, lavender. Scents that have a grounded femininity to them. Not girlish. Not cloying. Just elegant. 1 or 2 sprays at the wrists and behind the ears. Not more. Never more. True luxury never shouts. And while we're on the subject of subtlety, nails, hands, mouth. These are often the first parts of us others see up close. They tell a quiet story and sometimes they speak volumes. Nails should be clean, shaped, and soft in tone. A sheer pink. A creamy nude. A deep burgundy in the fall. You don't need acrylics or rhinestones. Just hands that look cared for. Hands age, that's normal. But moisture, SPF, and gentle attention go a long way. Keep hand cream by your bedside. Use it. It's not about vanity. It's about stewardship. Oral care? That's not beauty, that's dignity. Whiten if you want to, yes. But what truly matters is that your smile feels confident. And your breath fresh. These are the invisible signals that people feel around you. And when they're tended to with grace, they make everything else, even the most basic outfit, feel elevated. Finally, makeup. Less is more. You don't need glitter or contour or layers of foundation. You need light. A soft, glowing base. A dab of blush to remind you that you're alive. A brow that frames your face gently. A neutral lip or a bold one if that's your style. But never because it's trendy. Only because it feels like a full stop on a sentence you're proud to write. Makeup at this stage isn't to hide. It's to enhance. To remind you and the world that you still care. Because how you groom yourself tells people how to treat you. But more importantly, it tells you how much you're still worth that effort. Your grooming is your first layer of elegance. It's the soft veil that rests over everything else. And when it's done with care, you don't need to look expensive. You'll feel it. And others will feel it too, without a single word being spoken. Before we go any further, I want you to stay with me until the end of this video, because I'll be sharing one timeless elegance habit that costs absolutely nothing, and yet it quietly transforms the way people see you. It's not a product. It's not a piece of clothing. It's something far more powerful. And once you start doing it, you'll never look at luxury the same way again. So take a breath. Settle in. And let's keep going. Now let's talk about something sacred in the world of understated elegance. Investment pieces. Because once your grooming is soft and steady, and your wardrobe foundation is in place, you begin to notice. There are certain items that quietly elevate everything else around them. They don't need to shout. They don't need logos. They don't even need to be new. But they change how you walk, how you feel, how you carry your day. These are the pieces worth choosing with care. Not because they're trendy, but because they will serve you again and again. Let's begin with the first. A structured blazer. If I could recommend just one investment for any woman over 50, it would be this. Not oversized, not padded with trends, but a blazer that fits your shoulders, defines your waist, and frames your presence like an exhale. It sharpens jeans. It dignifies dresses. It turns even a plain t-shirt into a statement of intention. Look for one in navy, camel, ivory, or deep black. Feel the weight. Notice the seams. Touch the lining. Good tailoring is never loud, but you feel it in the way the garment respects you. Next, a leather handbag. Not the kind covered in initials. Not the one that costs a mortgage payment. But a well-made bag in full-grain leather, smooth, supple, and unbranded. A medium-sized tote in caramel. A structured crossbody in oxblood or deep espresso. Something that holds your essentials. And holds its shape. You'll know it by the sound of the clasp. The weight of the strap. The way it opens like a quiet promise. You don't need a new one each season. You need one that will still be with you 5 years from now, aging beautifully alongside you. Third, simple gold jewelry. Not costume. Not clunky. But pieces that seem to melt into your skin. A slim gold band on your finger. Small hoops or studs at your ears. A chain that sits just below your collarbone, catching the light, not stealing it. Gold warms the skin. It complements every neutral tone. And above all, it endures. Invest in 1 or 2 real pieces. Even if they are small. Especially if they are small. They'll speak for you long before you ever open your mouth. Fourth, low-heel quality shoes. Not sky-high pumps. Not ballet flats that collapse at the heel. But shoes with posture. Shoes with substance. Think. Block-heeled slingbacks in leather. Polished loafers in chestnut or cream. Soft suede ankle boots with almond toes. Comfort matters, but so does silhouette. A beautiful shoe should support you and elevate you at the same time. Quality shoes don't squeak. They don't wobble. They make no unnecessary sound but leave a lasting impression. Finally, the crown jewel of cool season elegance. A silk or wool coat. This isn't something you wear once and forget. It's something you wrap around your shoulders in the quiet mornings. Something that turns even leggings into a look. Choose a coat with weight. With lining. With pockets that feel like home. Colors like camel, dove gray, charcoal, or midnight. Nothing too trendy. Nothing too oversized. Just enough to frame your body and say, I am here. I am prepared. I am well. Now let's talk strategy. Where do you spend? Where do you save? Here's a simple rule. Splurge on the things you wear often, touch often, or carry daily. That blazer. That handbag. Those shoes. They are part of your uniform of presence. Save on things that change with the seasons or that sit against trends. And yes, some of these investment pieces can be found secondhand. In fact, many of the best ones should be. A vintage wool coat from Italy. A handcrafted gold bracelet from a little-known maker. A structured bag from 15 years ago that still holds its shape better than most made today. Learn to spot quality. Clean, even stitching. Weight that feels right in the hand. Lining that lays flat, zippers that glide, hardware that's cool to the touch. Fabrics that soften, not stretch. And always pieces that feel like you. Not just on the hanger, but when you move. Because luxury is not about the price tag. It's about endurance. It's about fit. And most of all, it's about the quiet confidence that comes from wearing something that was made and chosen with intention. One blazer. One good bag. One perfect coat. Not to impress, but to remind you, you deserve things that last. There's a quiet power in restraint. A kind of elegance that doesn't come from adding more, but from having the courage to let go. That is the soul of minimalist elegance. And after 50, it becomes more than a style. It becomes a way of living. See, we're conditioned to believe that more means success. More color, more accessories, more patterns, more stuff. But over time, all that more begins to blur your presence. Your voice gets lost in the clutter. Your silhouette disappears under distraction. And here's the hard truth no one tells us. Excess cheapens beauty. It smothers grace. It muddies confidence. True refinement? It lives in the edit. Let's start with how this applies to your style. A woman who understands minimalist elegance doesn't walk into her closet asking, "What can I wear to stand out?" She asks, "What can I remove to feel more like myself?" She chooses a clean ivory blouse over a loud print. She reaches for navy, camel, black, taupe not because they're safe, but because they frame her, not compete with her. Because the more muted the palette, the louder her presence becomes. There's a reason why women who look expensive often wear so little color. It's not about avoiding joy, it's about honoring form. Letting the skin breathe against ivory. Letting gold jewelry glow against black. Letting camel speak in calm tones of strength. These colors, black, ivory, beige, navy, soft gold, they whisper, they soothe, they command gently. They say, "I know who I am. I don't need color to carry me there." Now let's talk about accessories. After 50, the most refined thing you can do is choose fewer pieces with more meaning. One structured handbag. One pair of earrings you love. One scarf that moves like silk across the collarbone. That's it. Not stacked bangles. Not 10 rings on each hand. Not a necklace that competes with your neckline. Your accessory should frame you, not fight for attention. Refinement doesn't need decoration. It needs air. And here's the most transformative practice of all. The wardrobe audit. At least once a year, stand in front of your clothes, not with guilt but with grace. Ask yourself, does this piece still fit the woman I am today? Do I feel beautiful when I wear this? Would I buy it again right now? If the answer is no, thank it and let it go. Because every piece that stays in your closet without purpose is an anchor holding you back from the elegant life you're ready to live. And here's something else we don't say often enough. Letting go is not loss. It's clarity. It's choosing space over noise, breath over burden, presence over pressure. Minimalism isn't about living without beauty. It's about living with only the beauty that matters. So as you step into this chapter of life, where everything you wear, everything you touch, everything you allow into your space, reflects back how deeply you've come to know yourself. Remember this: your elegance will never be found in the excess. It will be found in what you were brave enough to leave behind. You've chosen the right clothes. You've curated the textures. You've simplified your look and your life. But now we arrive at the part that can't be bought, thrifted, or tailored. Your presence. Because how you move, how you speak, how you exist in a room, is the most luxurious thing about you. There's something unshakable about a woman who knows her value. Not because she's loud, but because she's rooted. She doesn't rush. She doesn't explain herself 3 times. She doesn't fill silences with nervous laughter. She lets herself arrive. Fully. This is the attitude of elegance. And it has nothing to do with wealth. It's calm. It's collected. It's quietly sure of itself. This kind of presence begins with how you hold space. You walk into a room, not apologizing for being seen, but not demanding it either. You're not trying to impress. You're not chasing attention. You embody attention. with your posture, with your breath, with the stillness in your shoulders that says, I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. One of the most elegant things a woman can do? Slow down. Speak with intention. Let your words land like velvet, soft but undeniable. Your voice doesn't need to be loud to be heard. It needs to be clear, measured, warm, complete. Let there be space between your words. Let people lean in. True luxury never rushes. And when you speak, don't fill every silence. There is a grace in choosing to say less. You don't need to over-explain your choices. You don't need to soften your no with 20 reasons. You don't need to shrink so others can stretch. You can simply say, that doesn't work for me right now. And let that be enough. Because a woman who trusts her own voice never begs to be understood. Eye contact is another silent signal of elegance. Not aggressive, not staring, just present. Looking people in the eyes when you speak to them, or more importantly, when they speak to you, says, I see you, I'm listening, and I'm not afraid to be seen. That is poise, and it has more power than any designer label. There's a quote I love and I'll share it with you now. Luxury is how you make people feel in your presence. It's not your bag, not your shoes, not even your outfit. It's how people feel when they sit across from you. Do they feel hurried or held? Do they feel judged or gently invited to be more of themselves? A refined woman leaves a trail of softness behind her, not because she tries, but because she's become it. She's walked through enough fire to no longer need to prove herself. She wears her self-worth like silk, barely visible but impossible to ignore. Presence is elegance. And presence can't be faked. It's built in your daily rituals. It's shaped in how you speak to yourself when no one's listening. And it shines through in every room you walk into, even if you say nothing at all. So the next time you want to look expensive, ask yourself, am I calm? Am I clear? Am I present? Because when you are, you don't need to do anything more. You already are the luxury. There's a kind of luxury no one talks about. A kind that doesn't hang in your closet or sit on your wrist. It's not in your shoes. Not in your car. Not in the square footage of your home. It's in how you live your day moment by moment when no one is watching. That's real elegance. The unspoken kind. The kind you don't post but you feel. And the truth is, it doesn't cost much. In fact, the richest women I know are rich in rituals, not in things. Let's begin with something simple. Tea. Yes, tea. Not gulped from a travel mug on the way to errands, but sipped slowly from porcelain. A quiet morning in your robe. Steam rising. Light pouring in. No distractions. That moment, that pause is wealth. Because it says, I deserve to start the day gently. And if your teacup is beautiful, if it has weight, or flowers, or gold along the rim, even better. Luxury doesn't always need to be new. It just needs to be chosen with care. Next, a journal. Not the cheap kind, but one that feels good in your hands. Leather-bound, linen-covered, smooth, thick pages. And not just for goals or tasks or things you've left undone, but for thoughts, for stillness, for the parts of your mind that only come forward in silence. Write about your dreams, about what made you smile today, about the softness of your new scarf or the sound of the rain. The more you observe your life, the more elegant it becomes. Because attention, presence, turns the ordinary into something sacred. Now, the thing most women forget to romanticize. Walking. Yes, walking. But not to burn calories. Not to hit steps. Not to multitask. a daily walk in silence, or to music that moves like breath. A slow walk through your neighborhood, your garden, or tree-lined path. Let your arms swing. Let your pace match your thoughts. Let your phone stay in your pocket. This is a practice of grounding. And no outfit, no perfume, no designer label can replace the peace that comes from being a woman who walks without hurry. But speaking of perfume, let's return to something intimate. Apply fragrance before bed. Why? Because you're still worthy of beauty, even as the world goes quiet. Even when there's no one there to notice but you. A soft mist at the base of your neck. On your wrists. On your pillow even. Let yourself become the last beautiful thing you notice before you close your eyes. Because elegance is not performance. It's devotion. And that devotion begins with how you treat yourself. In the quiet. Now your surroundings. You don't need marble floors or grand chandeliers to live richly. You need intention. Think scent. A single candle that smells like sandalwood or fig. A bit of essential oil in your diffuser. Fresh rosemary in a jar by the sink. Think sound. Classical music in the background. Jazz on a rainy afternoon. Absolute silence when you need it. Think texture. A throw blanket that makes your skin exhale. A linen napkin for your solo lunch. A robe that feels like a cloud when you step out of the bath. These are not extras. These are the rituals that remind your nervous system. You are safe. You are cared for. You are home. So often we chase outer elegance. The look, the brand, the compliment. But true refinement begins inside. In the life you build when no one's watching. Because if your day is slow and soft and thoughtful, you carry that into every room you enter. And suddenly people feel it. Even if they don't know why. That, dear one, is the most timeless luxury of all. Let's take a breath together. And softly gather everything we've learned. Not with urgency, but with reverence. Not as rules, but as reminders. Quiet truths you can carry into every day. Like silk in your pocket. Rule 1. Neutral doesn't mean boring. Ivory, camel, charcoal, navy. They are not dull. They are dignified. They don't shout, they listen. And in that quiet you shine. Rule 2. Grooming is non-negotiable. It's the clean nails. The well-loved skin. The soft scent only you wear. It's not for the world's approval. It's your first act of self-respect. Rule 3. One signature piece says more than 10 trends. A blazer that fits like it knows your name. A gold ring you never take off. A coat that moves as you do. Choose once. Wear always. Let people remember you, not your clothes. Rule 4. Less but intentional. Fewer items. Fewer words. But each chosen with love. Minimalism isn't lack. It's clarity. And clarity is elegance. Rule 5. Confidence is your crown. Not pride. Not noise. But quiet certainty. The kind that walks slowly. That listens. That doesn't explain herself. Because when you know your worth, everything you wear becomes regal. These are not just style tips. They are ways of moving through the world. Of living richly, softly, deliberately. You don't need to chase trends. You don't need to spend a fortune. You only need to know who you are. And wear that beautifully. So now, you've heard the tips. You've felt the rhythm. You've remembered things you already knew. Things you may have forgotten but that never really left you. And maybe in this quiet moment, you're asking, can I really become that woman? The one who moves with ease. Who speaks with clarity. Who dresses not to impress but to reflect. The woman who never raises her voice. Because her presence does the speaking. The one who wears a blazer over a tee and somehow looks royal. who makes coffee feel like ceremony, who lives in softness but never weakness. Here's the truth, love. She's already in you. She's the part of you that walks a little slower now. Not because you've slowed down, but because you've stopped racing. She's the part of you that chooses quality in conversation, in fabric, in friendships. She doesn't rush to be seen. She doesn't fight to be heard. Because she already knows her worth. And she lives like it. Not for applause. Not for attention. But for the quiet joy of being completely herself. Becoming her isn't about money, or the latest trend, or looking like someone else. It's about returning to what you've always known. That elegance isn't added. It's revealed. It shows up when you clear the clutter. In your closet, in your schedule, in your soul. It shows up when you stop asking permission. When you stop dressing for approval. When you start building a life that feels like you. Clean, calm, considered. So, let this be your new definition of luxury. A home that smells like lavender and feels like peace. A wardrobe that's small but effortless. A body cared for, not punished. A mind that's no longer busy but awake. A voice that's used sparingly and powerfully. And above all, a life where nothing is wasted. Not your time. Not your energy. Not your presence. You don't have to become expensive to look it. You only have to become undeniably you. Because that kind of woman, a woman who knows what she loves, who cares for what she owns, who walks with grace and dresses with ease, that woman never goes unnoticed. Not because she's loud, but because she leaves a trace of elegance wherever she goes. Looking expensive isn't really about being seen. It's about feeling right. In your own skin. In your own rhythm. In your own quietly curated world. It's about putting on a pair of earrings that make you stand taller. Pouring your tea into porcelain instead of paper. Saying no kindly and meaning it. It's about letting go of what no longer fits. So you can finally fit fully into you. If this video reminded you of something you'd forgotten, or stirred something soft inside you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who would understand. And I'd love to hear from you. In the comments. Tell me, what's one elegant habit or ritual you practice every day, no matter the budget? Or what's one affordable piece you own that makes you feel like your most refined self? Let's inspire one another. Because this isn't just a channel. It's a space. A soft space. For strong women. And if you haven't already, you're warmly invited to subscribe. Here we honor the luxury of aging gracefully. We celebrate timeless style, mindful living, and the quiet confidence that comes with wisdom. New videos are coming, full of elegance, warmth, and the deep, lasting beauty that only time can bring. Thank you for spending this time with me here on Grace After 50. If this spoke to you, if something in you felt seen, I'd love for you to subscribe, to share this with a woman you cherish, and to carry this feeling with you through your week. Because you don't have to wait to feel refined. You already are. You simply have to begin living like it. Until next time, live softly, live beautifully, live well.